Hello everyone, it's Amigo Aaron here with a rare review on our channel, but this week we're going to be looking at the ONS-T14B portable monitor and keyboard combo. A little device I found on Amazon. Searching around one night for something to hook up to my B-Link portable mini computer. If you take a look at this item, it is from ONSHLI or OUNSHLI, and it is a keyboard that is built right on the end of a monitor, so they fold together. And it also is what I would call fairly feature-packed for a device in this price range. The way it is built on Amazon, you have a number of various interfaces and stuff, and with the miracle that is USB-C, it gives you a lot of different options that you can use when you're hooking up your PC or your phone or whatnot. The computer is shown here, or the keyboard and monitor laying flat, which you can do. And you also, the monitor includes an earphone jack, a USB-C for power, a USB-C regular, a mini HDMI, two USB-A ports, and some menu buttons for you to use when you're, adjusting the monitor with various options. So let's take a look at this thing. I did pop this open just to make sure everything was in here, but this is basically exactly the way it came to me as shipped from Amazon. It just says portable monitor. They're not lying to you. Big gold letters in a white box. Kind of what I was expecting, if you want the honest truth. But it was well packed. I can't complain about that. Right on top here, you've got a very small instruction manual. I would not call that an instruction manual that is complete, but hopefully I can fill in some of the gaps. Here's the actual monitor itself. That rip is where I ripped it to make sure it was in there, but it came completely packed. This is the little box that has all the various accoutrements in it. This right here is a USB-C to USB-A. That's for the power for the monitor. This right here is a USB-C to USB-C. That's the data link you'll use to hook up to your device if you have USB-C. There's your power adapter. This is what you'll hook the USB-C to power into to power the monitor. And then you also got a mini HDMI to HDMI here, which will come in handy because most devices don't have the mini on it. And then lastly, you've got this mystery bag. It's funny, the mystery bag is the only thing not mentioned in the manual at all. And I really was perplexed when I first pulled that out, but we'll get into what that does here in a minute. And the rest of the box is empty. You can see it's well padded. They did a good job on the box. So here's the monitor itself. Again, I've ripped into it to make sure it was in there, but it came perfectly sealed. Here's the monitor itself. It's a very thin monitor. The keyboard bend, and it's an awkward thing. I mean, it's weird looking because there's no coverage on the monitor on that side. It takes some getting used to understand exactly what you're in for. The hinges are very stiff and stout, I will say. So this thing does not feel cheap hinge-wise. And here's the keyboard. The keyboard itself, I thought felt pretty good. I was surprised, actually. I'm not too keen on where they put the power button right there because I keep wanting to hit the backspace key, but you could learn to live with it. The power button, thankfully, you have to hit it a couple times or hold it down before it turns off. There's your two USB-As and your monitor adjustments. And then on the second side, you've got your USB-C, your USB-C for power, and your mini HDMI in there. And then on the back, just some venting and some feet right there. Of course, this isn't the kind of device you're going to want to open up. This is not a computer. Just to reiterate, this is just a monitor with a keyboard attached. So here we've hooked up the B-Link. Now we've got, that is one USB-C into my B-Link's USB-C, and then the monitor is hooked into power. Again, this monitor has a built-in battery, and it says, according to the instructions, that if you charge it 3 to 4 hours, it will last 2 to 7 hours. It's a pretty wide gap, but I mean, still, it is powered. It's got a battery, so that's kind of neat. So The nice thing is, if you've got the right USB-C, you can have just one cable going from your computer to the monitor and keyboard, which is dandy. And you can see we're booting up Windows here, and here we go, booted right up, and everything comes right up. It required no setup at all, and it came right up. You'll notice the trackpad is monstrous on the right hand side. That's one of the weirdest trackpads. It's like they took a trackpad and just turned it sideways, but it came right up. I didn't have to, install any drivers or do anything funky. The video came right up. Everything worked right out of the box. I was very pleased, actually, to see that it worked so seamlessly. And with just the one cable, because it's one of the things I was wanting to do, is I need something that's a lot more portable than just carrying around a monitor. And I'm too cheap to buy a full-fledged laptop to do all my live streaming, which is what this is going to be used for when we're on the road. Me and Boat cover a lot of wrestling. We do a lot of commentary for wrestling and stuff, so we have to have something we can take to the arena. And here is OBS, pops right up. Of course, again, this is running off the computer, but I would say the monitor looks good. I mean, I think it's actually quite a nice monitor. It's a 14-inch monitor, and I think it's a very attractive. I was actually quite surprised at how well it looked. If I'm completely honest here, we'll check out how it sounds. Oh boy, there's our good buddy Dave Velociraptor on This Week in Retro. I knew when I needed a sound test, I could reverberate the room with his voice. So that's nice. The music, I think it sounds pretty nice. Overall, I was impressed. The keyboard felt good. I did some typing on it. I mean, are you going to type in War and Peace on this thing? Probably not. Now, it's not all fluffy puppies and rose petals. I had some trouble right-clicking on the touchpad. The touchpad has no actual tangible buttons on it. It's just all touch. And I couldn't find, like most touchpads have a specific place that has a right mouse button or something like that. This did not have that. And so I really right-clicking on this thing is odd. I don't understand it exactly. It's not a deal breaker, but I would like to have seen that more well-defined. Here's a close-up of the keypad there, or the touchpad. Overall, though, the touchpads I found quite nice. I think it's a one-touch keypad, though. So, just for fun, just to say I did it, I also hooked up my Raspberry Pi 3 to this thing. The Raspberry Pi 3, of course, doesn't have a USB-C. So what you've got here to hook this up is I've taken a USB-C to USB regular, USB-A, and hooked that into the USB-A into the Raspberry Pi, and I've taken the included HDMI mini port to HDMI and hooked that into the Raspberry Pi, and sure enough, it worked. It worked with the sound, the video, and it worked with the controller. You can see I've got the controller hooked in to the side there. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. This monitor has a big monitor on the front and a keyboard in the back, and you can see it. There's a problem. It doesn't, when you have the keyboard up and the monitor laid back to where you can see it, you can't see it, and that's where this bag of stuff comes in. Now, the bag of stuff is not documented, and it took me a little while to figure out exactly what you're supposed to do with the bag of stuff. Here's what's in the bag of stuff. First, you've got this. This is just a hinge with a tiny little magnet on the end. Golly, I don't know where they got this thing, and it's a tight hinge. I mean, it's a good hinge, and you can see one side of this has a peel away sticky side. Now this other item is a big long sticky strip. It didn't take too long for me to deduce what to do, and it was to put this thing on the back of the monitor like a kickstand. Now, this is not what I would call an elegant solution, and it's easy to screw up. The first time I did this, I had it too high. You can see here, this is the second time. You actually have to extend this thing down past the bottom of the monitor. Otherwise, it won't work right because you've got to allot for the gap that the keyboard sets off the desk. You've got it, so there's a little oversized part that goes off the back end, but you have to have that to get it to set perfectly flat. But once you've got it all adjusted out, and I mean, trust me, you're going to want to line it up with the bottom middle foot, and then you're going to want to make sure it's as straight as you can and as in the middle of the thing as you can, and then you can extend it out. I saw some people complaining about the fact that this thing wouldn't set up right on the web page, and lo and behold, this is now included with the machine. I knew this when I got it, that it didn't set right, and so I figured I'd come up with something. But this actually, I mean, listen, again, it's not elegant, but it works. It gets the job done. And once I installed the little kickstand, it worked fine. And after a little bit of modifications and whatnot, it sets flat, it doesn't wobble, and it's still fairly innocuous. You won't even notice it's back there, except for the fact that your thing doesn't tip over. I'm going to swing around to the back here so you can see it. There it is, setting perfectly flat there. And again, it's hinged, so you can move it, and there's a little magnet to keep it shut. So it really won't affect anything, but again, it's not what I would call beautiful, and hopefully the adhesive will hold up. Overall, I've found this thing to have excellent sound, given what it is, and the fact that it hooks up with just one cable, I find quite nice. The fact that it also has a battery in it is a nice bonus. I mean, I'm not dependent on the battery for more than a couple of hours, but it's quite nice. Here's a little close-up of those side ports. Like I said, you get the two HDMI ports, or the two USB ports on the side. They have there's one other combo like this that's more of a laptop-style combo that has a few more features. It's probably a better touchpad. It's got touch screen. But the difference in the things, you're talking, that thing was near $300. And at the time of recording this, I paid just under $100 for this item. So I thought I'd take a chance on it. And so far, I've been pleasantly surprised. This does everything I want it to do. We're going to look at the... you can see the little buttons here that bring up the selections that are built into the monitor. The monitor so far is auto-detect everything I've tried to it. So that's a nice plus. But you can go in here and set the brightness and whatnot. And I'm sure you could extend the battery life that way as well. So it's a nice touch. But overall, I think this is a great option for people that have little computers, or a Mister, or a Raspberry Pi, something like that, or you want to use your phone as a desktop thing, and you don't want to break the bank. Then I think the little monitor is a good choice. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next time. Adios.